Alright, hey guys, it's Chris G coming here live from Kennedy Meadows North Resort. As you can see behind me, it's a nice little river that is right beside the campground that they have here. Today we're going to talk about Section H. I know it's been a while since I made a video. I've been in the Sierras, going through a lot of snow, a lot of pretty tough conditions still out there, but I made it through Section H. Section H is 175 miles. It goes from Crabtree Meadows, which is the area where you go up to Mount Whitney, and it goes all the way to Tuolumne Meadows, which is in Yosemite. And so, as I alluded to in the last video, sorry my notes keep blowing away, having to hold them down, it's a little windy here. As I alluded to in my last video, day 45 was the first day that I set out to try to go up Forester Pass. Those of you that know the PCT will know Forester Pass is the highest pass. It's so being the highest pass, of course it's going to be covered in snow. So on day 45 I woke up really early. I was trying to get to Forester Pass. It was only about 13 miles away, but I didn't really factor in what early season Sierras was going to do to my mileage for that day. Went into the Sierras. I had to ford 3 rivers, and the rivers were, I mean, there's no way to cross them. I couldn't find any logs, and so I ended up fording 3 rivers that day, post-holing for miles to get up to where the pass is. And once I got up to where the pass was, it was 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So as you know, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, the snow is going to be really soft. It's really not a good idea. I talked to some other people that did the pass really late in the day, and they said the backside was really soft and slushy and sketchy, and they really wish they wouldn't have done it. And so what I did that day was I kind of swallowed my pride and said, this isn't safe, you know, there's no one else with me. So what I did was I hiked about 2 hours back to the tree line and camped. That way I could get up early and do it the next morning. And I'm really glad I did. And that brings us into day 46. And so day 46, what I did was I woke up really early, and so I could get up Forester Pass. The approach was about 4 miles from where I camped. And so what I did was, once I got there, you get up to the approach, and I had seen it the day before, but you get up there to the bottom and you're looking up about 200 or 300 yards and there's nothing but snow. The trail is completely covered in snow on the south side. Only thing you can see, and it may be a little bit worse now because there's been snow since then, but the only thing you can see was the switchbacks that the trail maintainers made at the very top. And so what I had to do was I had to scramble on snow, ice, rocks. I had to scramble up to those switchbacks. But once I got to the switchbacks, it was pretty nice because there wasn't a lot of snow on the switchbacks. You didn't have to do any big snow traverses on the switchbacks. But the only issue I ran into, and I heard this from a lot of other people, is right under the Forester Pass sign, there's an ice cornice that comes out and has a pretty sketchy run out, and you have to traverse that. I'd say, I don't know, it's about 15 or 20 yards, but below it you look down and there's just nothing. If you lose it, you're going for a ride. And so I went across that, and then I went up to the path that normally goes to the sign, and I was kind of confused because the path goes like that, and then there's snow coming at an angle, so you can't get around it. There's no steps. There's really, you know, no hint at what to do. And so what I had to end up doing was you had to go back a little ways and climb up and over a rock that was to the left of the sign, and then climb down to where the pass was. And that's how I ended up getting over Forester Pass. And I was really glad that I didn't do it really late the day before, because the north side of Forester Pass, when I was there going back down the ridge, there's no trail for miles. There were steps cut going to the left, and they went down the hill and over top of a ridge, and then it went back down, but all of this was in the snow. And that day I ended up getting all the way to Bullfrog Lake Trail, since I got an early start on the pass. And Bullfrog Lake Trail is the trail I actually took to go out to Kearsarge Pass. And day 47 I got up on Bullfrog Lake Trail. That trail was also full of snow, and I went over Kearsarge Pass to the Onion Valley Trailhead. Kearsarge Pass was really nice because there wasn't really a lot of snow on the south side. North side still had a little bit of snow, but most of the snow had melted to where it was, at least you could see the trail a little bit once you got down. And you go to the Onion Valley Trailhead, and that is a trailhead pretty far up in the mountains, so got really lucky. I saw a day hiker when I was walking down, and she was able to give me a ride into Independence. Independence is a pretty small town. They have a lot of hiker services, but I made the decision to get a ride to go to Bishop, and I was going to take the bus, and the place where the bus picks up in Independence is right in front of the courthouse. I was sitting there waiting for the bus. I had my $6. That's what the ride costs. It's about 40 miles, so I mean, that was reasonable. I was sitting there with my pack, not trying to get a ride, and a guy pulled over and said he was going to Bishop. Did I want a ride? And it was just really lucky. And so I got a ride to Bishop, and where I ended up going in Bishop is the Hostel California, which is a hostel for hikers, climbers, snowboarders, skiers, all kinds of people like that. It's a great hostel. It's located pretty well in Bishop. They have bikes and stuff to rent. Bishop is a nice town. They have outfitters, have a big supermarket where you can resupply. And so when I got there, everyone else, myself included, was pretty beat up from the first little bit in the Sierras. So I took about a day and a half, 0 day in Bishop. So I took a 0 day the next day. And then the day after that, at about lunchtime, myself and another group of guys that I decided I was going to hike with to get over these next couple passes in the Sierras and ford the rivers and stuff like that for safety. You know, that's basically the thing to do when it's early season or any time in the Sierras, is to have some people with you. That way you can look out for each other. So what we did was we got a ride at about lunchtime from a trail angel, and it's kind of a weird story because we paid the guy for a ride and he got us all the way almost up back to the trailhead, but he was like a mile away and his car just quit and it wouldn't go anymore. So what we did was we got out and we walked back to the Onion Valley trailhead, and they have a little campground there, and so we made the decision that we were just going to camp there for the night, get up really early so we could go over Kearsarge early in the morning and get to the next pass in the Sierras, which is Glen Pass. When we got to Glen Pass, the approach trail to it was pretty clear. It wasn't that bad, and then we ended up getting over the pass, and the north side of it, you could either glissade down or you could walk down. I think I decided to walk down. The glissades were pretty steep, and at that point I wasn't really sure about glissading, and I didn't want to get hurt or roll over, so I'm pretty sure I'll walk down it. And then we get to day 51, which is when we were going over Pincho Pass. And you notice a pretty common theme with every day in the Sierras. It's one pass a day. There were some people that were doing 2 passes a day, but they got into situations where they were doing, say, I don't know, a really hard pass in the afternoon like Mather, and they got into situations where they were self-arresting multiple times, which is where you basically, you know, slip on the snow or ice and have to dig your ice axe in to keep from sliding down the hill and have to restart the whole trail again, or possibly run into a rock and getting hurt. So the best strategy for us was doing 1 pass a day. So Pincho Pass, we went up the south side. It was covered in snow. We got to the area where we thought the pass was. We couldn't see a sign. I'm pretty sure if there was a sign, it was buried under snow. There were feet of snow on top of it. And we went over the north side, and just like every other pass, completely covered in snow. You could see a little trail of footsteps, and so we ended up following those footsteps down the pass. And for this section H, it's a little bit long. It's 175 miles, so I decided to break it into 2 videos. This is going to be video 1, and it basically went from my journal on day 45 to day 51. And so when we get back to video 2, we're going to talk about another really famous pass in the Sierras, or maybe infamous is the right word, and that's Mather Pass. But that's going to be for video 2. Talk to you next time.